Good morning, class. So today we'll do the left portion of a chapter that was control and coordination, and the last class was before holidays, so it's been a very long gap. So we'll try to recall all the things that we did. We completed the coordination in plants and talked about the various topic movements in plants which were as a result of stimuli. So there were different movements like photonastic movement that was due to the sunlight, and then there was thigmotactic movement which is due to the touch. So there were various plants that were showing the reactions to different stimuli. That is, if the sunflower is there, it will turn towards the source of light in the morning. This is what we talked about the plants, and then we also talked about the hormones of the plant, that were the phytohormones. So in the phytohormones we talked about the auxins, what were the uses, gibberellins, cytokinins, how were they discovered, and the various aspects of the plant hormones. But now we'll have to talk about the coordination in animals and basically the hormones in animals. So for the hormonal secretion, the endocrine glands are responsible. So what are endocrine glands and what are exocrine glands, we'll talk in the later slides. So first of all, endocrine glands and what are their functions. So whenever we salivate, then whenever we some delicious food, we salivate. So that is a involuntary action. So we feel tense or sometimes anxious while making important decisions, and we digest different types of food that we ingest. So these are the various things that happen to us in our day-to-day lives. Then children, they grow older, taller during the early years of their life, and the voice of boys, they crack down during the puberty. So you must have seen that the voices change mostly in the boys when they are hitting their puberty age, that is from beginning of the 12 to 13 years, there is a change in the voice. So this is all due to some hormones. So lactation also begins during motherhood. All these reactions are a result of the hormonal changes that are occurring inside the body. So now the question arises, why these changes occur and how does the body control these functions? So now the control part of the body comes, that how are these functions be controlled by our body, and is there another system that is governing these complex functions? So the answer is yes, there is an endocrine system that is controlling all the hormonal secretions which are responsible for all these above given actions. What is hormone? The first question arises, what is hormone? So a hormone is a chemical messenger that regulates the physiological processes in living organisms. So hormones are present in only the living organisms, and they are responsible for regulating, means they are responsible for involving in the various activities of the living organisms, and they are basically regulating them. Whenever the pace have to be high, they are released in higher amount, and if they are required in less amount, then they are secreted in less amount. And what are the part from which they are secreted? The glands. So glands are responsible, various glands are responsible for the secretion of various hormones. The regulation of the physiological processes, the control and coordination by hormones is governed by the endocrine system. So now the last question that was asked in the slide, what is the function that is governing these complex functions? So the answer is the endocrine system. So the nervous system along with the endocrine system in our body control and coordinates all the physiological process. We also talked about the nervous system, the brain, how it is controlling all the body activities of our body, spinal cord also, that was coming under the category central nervous system. There was a peripheral nervous system also, which was also involved in regulating the various body activities. So the endocrine system, when combined with the nervous system, they both are responsible for controlling and coordinating the various physiological processes of our body. Then what are the characteristics of hormones? Hormones act as chemical messengers. They are secreted by the living cells or tissues or organs. So what are the tissues or organs from where these hormones are secreted? These are called as glands. So, and they are secreted mostly in very small quantity by the glands, because they are required in very small quantity, because only a very small quantity of hormone is responsible for carrying out various drastic actions. They act upon specific cells, tissues or organs called target sites. So hormones कहीं पर भी release नहीं होते हैं, they are whenever they are required and wherever they are required. So they are the target sites where they are, when they are required at that particular site, they are being released by the glands. They are generally slow in action, but they have a long lasting effect. So इनका जो एक्शन होता है वो स्लोली होता है, ग्रेजुअली होता है, बट जो एक्शन इनका फाइनली होता है वो काफ़ी लॉन्ग लास्टिंग होता है, एंड इट इज़ देयर फॉर अ वेरी large amount of time. They either accelerate or inhibit a reaction. So in enzymes also, we have talked about enzymes, or you must have learned about enzymes, that enzymes are the proteinaceous chemicals that are responsible for slowing or accelerating a reaction. So these are also acting like enzymes, the hormones. But what is the difference? The difference is the action. Enzymes usually act very fast and their effect is not very long lasting. तो वो जल्दी से होकर ख़त्म हो जाते हैं, और उनका जो इफेक्ट होता है वो बहुत स्लोली, बहुत जल्दी ख़त्म हो जाता है. बट इन हॉर्मोन्स द एक्शन इज स्लो and the effect is long lasting. So hormones are better than enzymes. So now what we'll talk about, the glands, the cells or tissues or organs from which these hormones are being secreted. So a cell, tissue or any organ that secretes hormones required for a specific function is called a gland. We all are familiar with the pancreas, the pituitary gland and the thyroid glands. These are all the pancreas, pituitary and the thyroid. These all are the glands which are responsible for the secretion of various hormones, and pancreas are specific for the release of specific hormone. Pituitary glands have their specific hormones, so therefore hormones are very much specific in their action. Glands are mainly divided into two broad categories, the endocrine and the exocrine. So what are exocrine glands? The exocrine glands are those glands which possesses ducts for the discharge and for the purpose of discharging the secretions into the body surface. So इनके पास ducts होती हैं. Ducts are tube-like structures, and through these tube-like structures they secrete whatever the substance is there, whatever the secretion they have to do, ये उन ducts के through करते हैं. Like the sebaceous glands present in the skin. So as we all know, under our skin there is a presence of sebaceous gland that is responsible for the sweating purpose. So whenever we see sweat on our hands or any body part, so these sebaceous glands transfer the extra amount of water and salt out of the body through ducts or through some tubes. So these are exocrine. Salivary glands, these are present in the buccal cavity. We talked about it in the digestive system chapter, and these are also having ducts for the secretion. The gastric glands present in the walls of the stomach, all these are example of exocrine glands. So duct glands with duct are exocrine and ductless glands are endocrine. So what are endocrine glands? These glands do not discharge their secretion through ducts, so these are ductless. Hence they are also known as the ductless glands. They discharge their secretions directly into the bloodstream. तो इनका कोई डक्ट या ट्यूब नहीं है सिक्रीशन के लिए. ये जो भी अपना सिक्रीशन करना होता है हॉर्मोन्स का, ये डायरेक्टली ब्लड स्ट्रीम के अंदर सिक्रीट कर देते हैं. एंड व्हाट आर द सिक्रीशंस कॉल्ड ऑफ द एंडोक्राइन ग्लैंड? द हॉर्मोन्स. सो द पिट्यूटरी, थायराइड ग्लैंड, ऑल दीज आर एग्जांपल ऑफ द एंडोक्राइन ग्लैंड. सो नाउ अगेन द क्वेश्चन, who discovered or who found out the term hormone for the first time? It was introduced by Ernst Starling. And which was the first hormone that was discovered? Secretin. So secretin was the first hormone discovered, and it was discovered by a scientist called Ernest Starling. And which two scientists are credited for this discovery? The Ernest Starling and William Bayliss. Now comes the endocrine glands in human beings. So in the diagram first, see where are these particular glands located in the human beings. First we'll talk about the pituitary. So hypothalamus is the foremost and the present at the anterior most position, and it is basically required for controlling all the body activities. Pineal gland located near brain, and it is also for coordination of the various activities of human body. Now pituitary gland. Pituitary gland, the position is here, it is located. So it is a tiny gland that is located near the hypothalamus of the brain. So this is hypothalamus, and इसके पास pituitary gland होता है बिल्कुल पास में, and it is very tiny structure. It is also known as the master gland. As why it is called as the master gland? Because the functions of the many other endocrine glands वो ये regulate करता है. जो pituitary gland होता है ये बाकी कुछ ऐसे एंडोक्राइन ग्लैंड्स हैं जिसके वो फंक्शन रेगुलेट करता है. दैट्स व्हाई इट इज़ आल्सो कॉल्ड एज अ मास्टर ग्लैंड. Same way as brain is controlling our various activities, it is called as a master organ, and in the same way pituitary gland controlling the other endocrine glands, it is called as the master gland. So now the pituitary gland is divided into two lobes. Now in this picture you will be able to see that two lobes are present. One is a little one bigger and the other one is smaller. The anterior lobe is called as the adenophysis. Anterior means present at the foremost position, it is called as adenophysis, and the posterior lobe is called as the neurophysis. So posterior means which is present near the hypothalamus, the brain part, so it is called as the neurophysis. So the word neuro can be related to brain, and that's why we can remember this. The one which is posterior, it is neurophysis, and one which is near, which is in the anterior position or away from the brain, it is called as adenophysis. Now what is the function of this endocrine gland? Again this pituitary gland, yeah. So it influences the secretion of the other glands like the thyroid gland. So as it is regulating the secretion of other gland, that's why it is being called as the master gland. तो कौन सा endocrine gland is ये regulate कर रहा है? The thyroid gland and the mammary gland as well as the gonads. So all these three glands are regulated by the pituitary gland. This is the first function. The second function, it controls the excretion of water from kidneys and the contraction of muscles of uterus. So when during the delivery of a child, the contraction of the uterus is required, or pituitary gland is helping in that function, and the another function is excretion of water from the kidneys. So during the time of urination, which hormone is acting? The pituitary gland. Then it also influences the development of testes and ovaries, as it is controlling the gonads, and gonads include the testes as well as ovaries. In the diagram it's there, the ovaries and the testes, these are together known as the gonads. So as pituitary gland is regulating these two, it is influencing the secretions of ovaries and testes. Then it secretes the growth hormone. So the growth hormone is being secreted by the pituitary gland, and it is involved in the growth and development of the human body. By the name itself, it is clear that growth hormone is responsible for the growth and development of human body. So what happens if there is any less in amount or higher amount is there of pituitary gland? So both can be problematic. There are various diseases that can be caused due to hyper as well as hypo condition. Hyper means when the pituitary gland is in a larger amount, secreted in larger amount, and when the pituitary gland secretion is in less amount, that it is hypo. So the secretion of growth hormone should be properly maintained in the body. It is very important for the proper maintenance. Over secretion, that is secretion larger secretion of the growth hormone prior to puberty. Puberty is the age that is mainly from 13 to 9 when the sexually reproducing organs are matured. That age is called as the puberty. So then if this hormone, that is the growth hormone which is secreted by the pituitary gland, अगर ये pituitary से पहले बहुत ज़्यादा growth hormone secrete हो जाता है, तो it will result in the growth of the body, and the growth will be very much drastic, and that condition is called as gigantism. So as the person will become very huge and all, so the condition is called as gigantism, and this is characterized and by the growth and increase in the height of the person. So the height of the person will increase to a very high, that is uncontrolled growth of the person will be there, and that's why it could be problematic. So one such problem is acromegaly. So this is acromegaly when there is overproduction of growth hormone by the pituitary. In the picture you can see the abnormal growth of hands, feet and face is there. This is what the condition will be developed if that hormone, growth hormone, will be in higher amount. Then comes the another hormone, that is the thyroid gland. The thyroid gland is situated close to the trachea in the neck. So the location in the picture must be there. Okay, so it's not there. Here it is. So here it is located, the thyroid gland. It is situated near the trachea. This is the trachea. Here it is located, the thyroid gland in the neck. It secretes a hormone called thyroxine. And what is the function of this thyroxine? It regulates the carbohydrate, fat and protein metabolism in our body. Metabolism we have studied. There are two types of metabolism, catabolism and anabolism. So जो metabolism होता है carbohydrate, protein और fat का, वो it is regulated by this hormone called thyroxine. It is released by thyroid gland. It indirectly affects the growth of the body by promoting growth and differentiation of tissues. Hence, it is also called as the personality hormone. जो thyroid gland होता है, it is not completely or not directly dependent on the controlling of growth, but somehow it is related to the growth as well as it promotes growth. If thyroxine hormone ज़्यादा है तो growth ज़्यादा होगी और टिश्यू का जो डिफ्रेंसिएशन है वो भी जल्दी जल्दी होगा. That's why it is somehow related to growth like the growth hormone. So there are very much disorders that are caused due to the thyroid disorders. The deficiency or the excess secretion of this hormone relates can be problematic. Hypo and hyperthyroidism, again the hypo, when the thyroxine hormone is released in less amount, that's also a problem. The height will then the growth will be very less, and if it is secreted in higher amount, that is hyperthyroidism, growth will be very much high. Then what are the conditions that leads to abnormality? The simple goiter, it's a disease, myxoedema and cretinism, all these are the names of a disease that can be caused due to hypothyroidism, that is less release of the thyroxine hormone. And if it is hyperthyroidism, it can cause the excess of metabolism, and the metabolism rate becomes very high. Then there is high blood pressure, there is nervous tension, irritability and profuse swelling. Weight loss occurs, and the person is always feeling very much low and always tired. So all these are the problems with the thyroid gland in secretion in higher amount. Now comes the other gland, the adrenal gland. So the adrenal gland is situated in the interior part of the kidneys. Here it is located, adrenal gland in the interior part of the kidneys. These are the kidneys, and here it is located, the adrenal gland. It is divided into two parts. The outer one, it is called cortex, and the inner one, medulla. Which two hormone it is releasing? And aldosterone and the cortisol. So the adrenal medulla and adrenal cortex, these are two different parts of the adrenal gland. The outer one cortex, inner medulla. So ये जो दोनों parts हैं वो दोनों अलग अलग हार्मोन सिक्रीट करते हैं. एड्रिनल मेड्यूला सिक्रीट करता है एड्रीनालिन और नॉरएड्रीनालिन. So in case of danger, it is also called as the 3F hormone, that is fear, fight and flight. So अब जब भी हम लोग को डेंजर कभी ऐसा फील होता है या फ्राइटन फील करते हैं हम लोग, सो एड्रीनालिन जो होता है वो सबसे ज़्यादा इंक्रीज अमाउंट में रिलीज होता है, एंड दैट विल result in the increasing heartbeat, and breathing rate will be very much increased. And why does this breathing rate increases? So that oxygen जो है वो जल्दी जल्दी पहुँचे हम लोग की muscles में, so that we can prepare, our body can prepare itself to run away or fight with the enemy. So whatever the problematic conditions are there, for fighting that conditions, this adrenaline hormone is released in a higher amount at that time. So this was all about the adrenaline hormone. It is also called as the emergency hormone. Then comes the pancreas. So where are the pancreas located? These are the pancreas. So pancreas is a mixed gland. Why it is a mixed gland? Because it has both the exocrine and endocrine part in it. So it is also releasing the secretion in the duct form and in the ductless form. That's why they are called as the mixed gland. The cells of the pancreas which are endocrine in its function are known as the islets of Langerhans. एंड जो एंडोक्राइन पार्ट होता है उस पेनक्रियाज का वो आइलेट्स ऑफ लैंगरहैंस कहलाता है एंड दे सिक्रीट टू हार्मोन्स विच आर द टू हार्मोन्स द इंसुलिन एंड ग्लूकागॉन. So why is this? Yes, this is pancreas. So what does insulin do? Insulin is used for regulating the blood sugar level in the human body. It increases the permeability of the cell membrane for glucose and accelerates the passage of the glucose into the cell from the bloodstream. So glucose is regulating the blood sugar level. That is, if someone is having the deficiency of glucose results into diabetes mellitus. Diabetes mellitus में इंसुलिन बनना बंद हो जाता है and that person becomes very much susceptible to heart problems because the sugar level keeps on increasing, the glucose level keeps on increasing because जो इंसुलिन होता है जो रेगुलेट करता है ब्लड शुगर लेवल वो नहीं बनता है and that's why the blood sugar level cannot be maintained, it keeps on increasing and increasing. And now what does the glucagon do? The glucagon it is antagonistic hormone to insulin. The antagonistic word means when something is completely opposite to the other. So glucagon is antagonistic to insulin. That means इंसुलिन अगर शुगर लेवल को कम कर रहा है तो ग्लूकागॉन विल इंक्रीज द शुगर लेवल, दैट इज द ब्लड शुगर लेवल. सो दे आर वर्किंग एंटागोनिस्टिक. अगर इंसुलिन ज़्यादा अमाउंट में है तो इफ़ वी गिव द पर्सन ग्लूकागॉन देन इट विल बी बैलेंस, द शुगर लेवल, द ब्लड शुगर लेवल विल बी बैलेंस. सो दिस इज द फंक्शन ऑफ pancreas. Now the last one comes gonads. What are the gonads? Ovaries in females and testes in males. So gonads include both testes and ovaries and they are involved in producing the gametes and are also the endocrine in function. So what does these secrete? Testes secrete testosterone and ovaries secrete estrogen and progesterone. So the testosterone is also called as the male sex hormone and female sex hormone are estrogen and progesterone. What is testosterone responsible for? It is responsible for the growth and development of the male secondary sexual characters. In the diagram you can see the location of the testes and ovary. So the deficiency, if there is deficiency of testosterone, it will develop into undersex individuals whose masculine characters are not properly developed. Then estrogen, it is responsible for the development of secondary sexual characters in female, and if there is deficiency it will also result in the underdeveloped females. So जो estrogen होता है वो responsible होता है secondary sexual characters की in females and testosterone for secondary sexual characters in males. And what does progesterone do? Progesterone helps in regulation of the menstrual cycle and maintaining the pregnancy. So these are all the various types of hormones and the complete endocrine glands that we have to complete, and we have completed it. In the next class we will start with the next chapter, though this topic is being removed by the CBSE, but this is just a brief because it will be helpful in studying the next chapters.